Hello, Facebook. So I really wanted to start this video by saying, somebody asked me, or I've had a few people ask me how I've been able to become a top leader in our company, but the truth is nobody asked. You ever see that? You always wonder if someone really did ask. I wish I knew how to do a watch party as well as going live. I don't know how to do that, so I'm just going live. But like I said, no one really asked me how recently, but I did just finish a team training and I shared with them on my team how I've been able to reach one of the top positions in our company in less than 2 years. And I thought it would be fun to hop on here on my regular Facebook timeline and share with you, because I don't know about you, but before I ever joined this kind of industry, I always wondered how people did it. So I'm going to be real with you and I'm going to tell you exactly how I did it, because I have some superpowers that I want to share with you. Okay? So first, let me tell you what superpowers I didn't have. Okay? Let's start with what I was lacking, and then I'll tell you why I was able to be so successful. Okay, so the first thing that I did not have, and this is one of the first things people tell me why they can't do this, is money. I did not have money. In fact, that was the reason why I did this in the first place. So a lot of people will say, I'd love to do this, but I just don't have the money to get started. Well, guess what? Neither did I. And you know what else? I also didn't have the money to go to college, yet I took out a loan and I figured it out. And guess what that got me? An education degree, which I'm thankful for, but it also got me lots and lots of debt. And I just feel like a lot of times we don't think of it that way. How many adults, and honestly, I'm curious, how many adults who went to college and have a degree are currently using that degree and are debt-free? Anyone? Anyone? Some of you maybe, there may be out there, but you're going to be shocked at how many people aren't, right? So I'll just tell you, I did not have the money. We were definitely struggling financially. We went from a 2-income family to a 1-income family. I really wanted to be home with my kids. I made that happen, but great financial sacrifice. And I just was not going to be able to continue to be home with them unless I, found a way to make some money from home. So, guys, groceries were a struggle for us. Paying our bills was a struggle at the time. I did not have the money. So money was not one of my superpowers. Another thing that I did not have was influence. So a lot of times people think, I would do this, but I don't know anyone. I don't know anybody who would be interested in, and I'm not good at selling things. Well, guess what? I had never sold a thing in my whole life. And actually, at the time when I joined this company, I was really struggling with grief, anxiety, depression. I didn't feel like I had many friends at that time. In fact, we had moved states when I had a baby. I was about 2 weeks before I had my baby, we moved here. I didn't know a soul. And I did get some wonderful friends at a church we started attending. But right before I started this business, I actually left that church and was feeling and wasn't anyone at the church. You know how you get in your own head, create your own stories. But I was feeling really lonely. I was feeling left out of things. I didn't feel like I had many friends. I definitely didn't feel like I had influence. I barely wore makeup. I barely rolled out of bed, you guys. So influence was not going for me there. Okay? Here's another thing I didn't have. This was not one of my superpowers. I did not have the time. Again, one of the things I hear over and over again is I wish I could, but I don't have the time. I did not have the time. I was homeschooling 3 babies, a 1, a 2, and a 4-year-old, and my boys were handfuls, okay? Wild boys, where if kids were doing something bad and somebody came in, whose kid? It was always my kid. Always my kid. Okay, so my boys were a handful. I did not have the time, and my husband at the time was working. On a good day, he'd be home by 7. Many times I ended up putting the kids to bed by myself, and you guys know. I didn't have the time to clean my house. Well, I didn't always make the time for that, but I didn't have the time. But again, a lot of times it's not a money issue, it's not a time issue, it's a priority issue, okay? But those were not on my side. And I didn't have the experience. I had never done this before. I had never had any sales experience. I was a teacher. In fact, I did not want anything to do with this kind of thing. I didn't want to sell anything. I did not have experience, and I did not have any training. So my friend that I joined, when I started my business, she was brand new just like me, and her sister that she did this with was also kind of brand new, and her friend that they joined, we were all learning together, and our company was kind of new, so there really wasn't a whole lot of training going on. We just kind of figured it out as we went. So I said all that to tell you those were not things in my favor, okay? Those were the things that were against me, I guess, and those are the number one reasons or excuses that I hear from other people who say they can't do this. Let me tell you what I did have. Now, here are my 3 superpowers and why I have been able to reach one of the top positions and become a 6-figure earner in a network marketing industry from home, from my cell phone, with all of those things going against me, okay? Number 1 is belief. You might want to call it gullible. I don't know, but many times people, the thing that holds them back is they are so skeptical. And even though I had never done anything like this before, my friend did, and that I was watching her on Facebook, and she told me she could pay her mortgage, and she lost 50 pounds, and guess what? I trusted my friend. I don't know why all of a sudden your friends who do these things, you think they're like these slimy like car salesmen, and all of a sudden you don't trust them. But thankfully I didn't have that wall. I thought to myself, oh, wow, that's amazing. If she could do it, that means it's possible, and I'll figure out how. And I just kind of believed it. And I think, I realized later that that's actually just a gift from God, I guess, is I just really don't question when people are successful. I love them and I cheer them on, and I'm like, man, I believe it. If she could do it, I can do it, right? And when I looked at the compensation plan or how we get paid, it looked doable to me. And I thought, now thankfully I didn't understand everything. I might have let it stop me, but I didn't. I just, even when I started going, I just did the work, and I just really believed that I could do it. And guess what? I did it, right? So it just wasn't really a question of when or if. It wasn't a question of if, it was when. In fact, I thought I would be the very top in less than a year, but I'll tell you another one of my superpower which didn't stop me. So that was it, you guys. It was belief. I truly 100%, and it still is. Like, I know that I'm going to be a top diamond in our company, not top as far as, higher than anyone else, but like I'm going to reach the top because I really believe I'm going to. So that's it. And I think that's probably the number one thing that stops people from doing these kinds of things. So that is it. Oh, here's my second one. Okay. This has been something that has really worked in my favor, and it's one of my superpowers. And one of the things that I know has helped me to get to where I'm at is authenticity. Did I say that right? Yes, I did. Okay. So being authentic is by far one of the best things that you can do. So the night that I joined, I should probably put it in the comments, I don't know. The night that I joined, I wasn't a live video because live videos weren't even a thing yet. So before live videos were even cool, I made a video and I put it on YouTube and shared it to my Facebook. And I had no clue what I was doing, you guys, like none. So, and I said that. That's the thing. I think one of the things that have really helped me be successful is I share my failures just as much as my successes, and I always try to be myself. I always try to be real. I don't try to hide anything, because what I found is the more real that you are, the more I share my story with you, other people are going to relate to that. And it actually has been one of the most beautiful things, because I really have had people reach out to me and share things with me that I don't think they would have shared otherwise, because you know how it is. Social media, Facebook, it can be such a facade, and it could be, you're always comparing your worst to somebody else's best. Well, I feel like, why not just put our real selves out there? And I just don't care as much of what people think about me. And I think that's another thing that really stops people, is they care way too much what people think. So you might reach out to someone. I see Rebecca on here. I might say, hey, Rebecca, I just started, these awesome products. Would you be open to some information? Now I might ask her that. And that's literally what I just said is exactly what I do. I send that type of message to people. And Rebecca might say yes. She might say no, and most likely she'll probably ignore me. But either way, so if she says yes, awesome. I share a video. If she says no, then my feelings aren't hurt. But what happens is many people, they get their feelings hurt. Oh, they hate me, and nobody wants this, and da-da-da. Well, it's not true that nobody wants it. Otherwise, it wouldn't be such an incredible industry, right? But the thing is, not everybody wants it, and that's okay too. So I basically think of myself as sorting, and I try to be as real as possible, and I just don't let other people's opinions stop me from reaching my dreams and changing my children's future. It just doesn't hurt my feelings. I mean, I shouldn't say that. Maybe sometimes people can hurt your feelings, but I don't let it stop me. So I think being as real as possible is one of my other superpower. And then, so my last one, okay, and this has been one of the hardest ones for me, but it is one of my superpowers, and I'm going to go ahead and claim it, was determination. So if you have watched me for any amount of time, you see that I fail and I get back up, and I fail and I get back up, and I fail and I get back up again and again and again, whether it be my weight loss or my business or being a mom or being a wife or whatever. I'm determined. I am determined to succeed. Okay, anything doing well is worth fighting for. And you learn by your failures, right? You don't learn if everything was just easy and perfect all the time. It'd be easy, right? But I'm determined to do it. And I think that's what it takes to be successful in here. And I know that is why most people fail. Like, technically, I'm not supposed to tell people what I make because I guess they're saying it's not achievable for most. Well, I'm sorry, that is garbage. It is achievable for most, but most are not willing to do the stuff. Like, most aren't willing to just do the work that it takes, right? And that goes for anything across the board. Why am I not a bodybuilder right now with like this perfect muscly body? Because I'm not willing to put in the work it takes to do that. It's not that I'm not capable of it, right? We're all capable. It's, are you willing to put in the work? Do you see it as a priority? You are capable of doing literally anything. If I wanted to go be a doctor, I could go be a doctor. But why is not everybody doctors? Because they're not willing to go to school for 12 years and put in all the effort and skip them things to learn. And like my brother's a doctor. I'm so proud of him. So you guys, that's what it is. It's not that it's not achievable. It's more than achievable. It's just that most people aren't willing to put it in the work. But I am determined, okay? I'm determined. And I'm going to keep going. And so you've heard me say many times, this is my breakthrough year. Well, it is my breakthrough year. I'm going to keep achieving my goals over and over again. And I want you to do the same thing. So sometimes you see us, like there's a group or anything, but you see others on social media and maybe they've reached something that you haven't, whether it be weight loss, whether it be like you think they're the perfect mom, or you think that, they've been successful with, their spiritual life or their marriage, or they've got a clean house. You guys, if I could, I should probably show you my office right now. Marie Kondo would be so excited to come into my house because she loves to clean, right? But I'm telling you, like, no matter what you think other people, how successful they are, it's not because they're any different than you. It's just that's where they put their focus and their what they strive to do, right? So you can literally do whatever you want to do, and that's it. So for me, I chose this profession, and I chose to be successful at this profession because it has allowed me to be home with my babies, and that's kind of what it comes down to. I really wanted to continue to stay home for my kids without struggling financially. So I guess there's that clause on there. I wanted to stay home with my kids, but I didn't want them to suffer financially because of that decision. I felt guilty either way. I felt guilty going to work, and then I felt guilty staying home and not being able to provide for my kids. So this has just solved that problem, along with solving a lot of health problems as well, which is for another day. But that's it. So it's not the things you think. It's not because I had all this money or influence or like time or experience. I had none of that. In fact, all of that was working against me. But what I did have is I had belief, I had determination, and I was authentic as possible. And so if you can do that, you can do what I do, and you can be really successful. So that is it. I hope you guys have a great night. And if you have any questions at all, reach out to me. This isn't for everyone. You might reach out to me and I might be like, you know what? Go ahead and try it, but maybe it's not for you. I don't know. It might not be for everyone. I'm truthfully not looking for anyone just to kind of do this with me. I'm looking to build a team of people who want to do it. If I have to convince you all the time, I'm going to have to keep doing that, and I don't have the time or desire to do that. I want to work with those who want to do it. If you believe it, if you just have that belief, you could. If you can be real and you can just be determined to make that decision, well, I can work with you. I can work with you, and not only that, we can link arms and I can help you reach the top. So that is it. The rest of it easy. If you got those 3 things, then you're gold. All right. So have a great night, and I hope you guys have a good week. All right. Bye.